We talked about earlier Mr. Wrestling 4 being one of the smartest men in all pro wrestling today. Corvis, he's a smart one himself.
Corvis has a mean streak in him. I've had my eyes on Corvis for quite some time, and, you know, he is like a hyena in the ring. He's like a shark. He smells blood, you know, and he knows what he's going for in this one. And Dan Danielson, he needs to be careful. I understand he has his beautiful wife out there, Mallory. He has his friends, his family. He has all the support of all the all-pro wrestling fans, but he needs to think what is best for Dan Danielson. And if that means losing this match, that means losing this match. Do not let an injury destroy your career.
Yeah, I mean, after last week's match with Steve Stamp, he went back in the locker room. The doctors took a look at it. They said, hey, I don't know if it's right to go out there again next week and out in that match. Your shoulder's hurt. And Daniel said, no, I got to go out there. I got to win this cup again. I got to give it my all for my all pro wrestling fans, for his family, and more importantly, for himself.
Dan Danielson coming out of it, trying to fight out of it, but look at Corvis. He's just wrenching on the arm.
Oh, nice. What added pressure, cranking on that arm, slamming Danielson down, going for that Americana submission hold there. He needs to straighten that arm, put pressure on it. Right now, Danielson, he's defending it well. Danielson needs to move right back to on his knees there, get behind Corvis. I try to pick him up, maybe. I don't know if he can with that injured left arm. This is
look at Corvis. He's making sure that Dan Danielson does not reach the ropes. Do you see that, Johnny? Do you see that? He is getting the upper hand and advantage of keeping Dan Danielson away from the ropes to not let the referee break it for a count.
He's using great ring positioning, great ring defense with his positioning. Now, oh, nice move by Danielson, taking Corvis down. Now going for a side bear hug there from the back area. Now he has a waist lock. Looks like he's going to try to pick him up. No, rolls to the shoulders. The amateur credentials of Dan Danielson coming through there. When he came to APW, a lot of people kept talking about, man, you got to see this kid on the mat. He's good. And he's a big kid. He's like 6'6", over 300 pounds. Can give anyone trouble in the ring. And when he was destined for greatness after that big 2009 Young Lions Cup win, unfortunately, he suffered that shoulder injury, and he was out for many a months here. He's come back to defend his crown.
Oh, I'm not knocking him at all. I'm not going to say that this kid is not a star here in Northern California. As you see the stars up and down the trunks of this man, those stars represent Northern California, and Dan Danielson represents Northern California. This kid has a whole lot of fight in him, and it looks like the people are getting behind him. They want him to get out of this maneuver. But, you know, he needs to think. He needs to think, is this going to destroy my career? Is this shoulder going to hold up? And I think it will. Look at Dan Danielson fighting out of it.
I think the last thing you'll see is Dan Danielson quitting. The last thing you'll see is Dan Danielson tapping. I think Corvus should have kept working on that shoulder there. Oh, tries to whip him off. He's able a big power slam. The real deal, Dan Danielson, the huge power slam now. He's so spent. He can't even put an arm over to get him in. Here he goes. 1, 2. Corvus kicks out. Corvus rocked for that power slam. Of course, he felt that right through that spine there as he holding his back. Oh, and there's those Corvus. Those deadly kicks by Corvus. That's what he's been working on the last few months. That's what's bringing him some success here in All Pro Wrestling as of late. Corvus Ventura had a rough start in All Pro Wrestling, but ever since he went to this dark side, this dark turn, I'm not explaining what's been going on with this kid. He was a bright kid, bright eyes, big, full of energy and spirit, but now. But this darkness has really brought him to success here in All Pro Wrestling.
Well, you know, Corvus doesn't want to be referred to as Corvus Ventura again. That man is dead, Johnny. Corvus Ventura is dead, and Corvus is here. You say he's gotten a little darker. You say he's gotten a little more towards the evil side, if you will. But what it proves to me, what it proves to be, and what you gotta understand is that Corvus's game has stepped up tenfold, and look at him just wrenching at the shoulder here of Dan Danielson.
Has a variation of that tequila sunrise submission hold here, has the arm hammer locked, and has the other arm and just wrenching, pulling back on it, that shoulder. Danielson is screaming in pain. The fans are clapping. They want Big Dan to get back to his feet. Corvus, I don't think he should have let go of that arm there. He should have kept focus on that. Oh. He just stepped back and delivered right a kick to that shoulder. Corvus, very focused here in this tournament. Like I said last week, he was very upset for being held back in the 2009 tournament. Oh, straight down on that shoulder. Great move by Corvis. Then he goes for the cover quickly. 1, 2. Oh, Big Dan kicks out.
Well, Sparky Battler needs to focus his attention here on Dan Danielson and make sure that he's all right.
I think as long as Dan Danielson has some wits about him, he's going to be able to kick out. I think he needs to try to drive the head more. Oh, Danielson back to his feet. Corvis was going to the top. Danielson hit his legs out from under him. Dan gearing back now. Is he going for that big shoulder block in the corner? It's one of his trademark moves. He hits it all on his bad shoulder. Bad move. Dan making a crucial mistake.
Dan Danielson, you've got to use your head, kid. You've got to understand. You got to understand what's on the line here. The Young Lions Cup, you have the chance. Don't go for it again, Dan.
He might have connected with that move, but it did more damage than Dan Danielson. Goes for it again. Oh! I think Dan Danielson does not care. He's putting it on the line to win this tournament, to advance to the finals. If he goes into the finals with a broken shoulder, so be it. He wants to make it. Look at him just muscle up with Corvis. This is the power of this big young kid from Sacramento.
I think you're right, Johnny. I think that might have popped his shoulder back into place. I don't think that.
1, 2. Oh, and Corvis kicks out.
I'm surprised that Corvis kicked out of that one. Dan Danielson has something to prove.
I think this with that extra weight is going to affect Dan Danielson. His mouth is open. He's sucking air. Corvis is gearing back. Corvis is sucking air too. All right, to the corner. Corvis moves. Shoulder right into that turnbuckle. Oh, jumping divorce court right there by Corvis. Corvis just rolls him over. This could be a Danielson. 1, 2, 3. Corvis goes right to the finals of the 2010 Young Lions Cup.
Corvis moves on to the next round, and do you see, Johnny, how his arm folded up underneath him? That couldn't have been pretty, but I'll tell you what is. Corvis goes on to the next round, and he is just that much closer to the Young Lions Cup.
Congratulations to Corvis, but I'm worried for Dan Danielson. Sparky Bell there to check on Dan Danielson. When he hurt that shoulder back in August of 2009, and the doctor said he'll never come back to pro wrestling, and I don't know. I don't know if Dan Danielson will come back from this one, person. Look at his shoulders. Look how red it is. Corvis going into the finals next week.